lovelies, thanks again for rejoining me on my channel. My name is Ya and welcome to Grown Ass Woman TV. This channel is dedicated for those of us that are not quite young and hip, but definitely not old and ready for retirement. So the middle generation that I feel like sometimes social media kind of neglects the fact that we're still alive and kicking. We've still got a lot to say. We've still got a lot to offer. Been there, done it. And so I decided to create this channel to, fill that little bit of a gap. So if you'd like this kind of content and you'd like to see more of me and what I have to say, the issues that I cover, please click on the subscribe button. Please show some love for your girl. Show some love with your family, friends, your children, sisters, sister-in-laws, aunties, nieces, you name it. We're here to discuss a lot of life issues that affect the middle generation. So today I was just kind of like, pottering around as I do sometimes. And I was really like thinking about life in general, as sometimes you just kind of like reflect on days gone by and what you've been up to in your life and what you've achieved, your children, your career, where you're going, what you're heading to do in life. And it really started making me kind of like reflect, and I thought, oh, this would be a really good kind of like topic for my channel. So I was just thinking about all the sort of experiences that I've had in my, my grown-ass woman life. I've been married for 17 years. I'm now divorced. My children have grown. I've got a 25-year-old, 24-year-old and an 18-year-old. So two of them have flown the nest, doing really well in their own lives. And I've got the youngest one with me who's also going to fly the nest. So it kind of like puts things into perspective when you start to sort of realise that, wow, so many years have gone by and so many years still to come where there's going to be quite a lot of like fundamental like life-changing shift moments. For some of us it means that we may have like lost a parent, like I said, children leaving home. I think it's called nesting. It's called nesting when your children leave home and then you're the only one kind of like left in the nest to kind of basically get on with stuff. And it really made me think that at the end of the day, it's all life experiences, but it's what you actually do with them that really matters. And I think that's another reason why I decided to do this YouTube channel. Although I've been doing YouTube now for the last 2 years and I've really, really enjoyed it. I have another channel called Ya Youngheart. That one explores my my ongoing journey in Ghana with my project and me being in Ghana, up and down, kind of like just trying to sort of get myself prepared for possible later life of, living abroad. So if you'd like to see that content, like I said, please click the link. About this channel is all about the middle generation that, we're kind of like almost, if you like, a little bit in limbo. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you're kind of too old to kick it with the young ones, but you're not too old. You're not so old that you need to be like kicking it with grandma and mum. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of scope for us to really explore some of the things that we go through. I think for me in particular, it's the physical changes. So right now, the boobage area, girls, it's kind of like slowly kind of going south. There's a few little grey sort of whispery bits starting to sprout. Physically even, you just feel like hormonally there are like a lot of changes, starting to feel a little bit hot at night, the little bit of like the sweating. I haven't actually experienced the hot flashes as such, but I do sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and feel quite, quite warm. And then there's all these kind of like, all of a sudden, these like whispery Brits that have decided they want to poke out from your chin. And it just really does make you realise that you really can't beat nature. You can do all this, you can put the lipstick on and this all helps. Now, I'm not going to lie, like girls, ladies, let's not feel like, it's the end of the world. We still got it going on. But yeah, I just really thought of it today, like, wow, changes are actually happening and sometimes you actually can't do much about it. You just have to kind of go with the flow and you know, the few little aches and pains now and again, you know, all in the, especially I find with like black people, it's always like the knees always start. Sorry guys, my battery kind of went a bit weird. Yeah, and I was just thinking as well, like, especially for we women, sometimes you get to the point where you realise, wow, I can't actually wear those fluorescent green leggings anymore, or, you know, the crop tops now kind of have to come down a little bit because the middle rift is now proper like protruding left, right and centre, and it's kind of like you just realise that, wow, I actually can't rock certain looks anymore. You see your girls with the Coca-Cola bottle, whoops, with their Coca-Cola bottle shapes, and you know, the size 8s and the 10s, and the boobies are up there and the bum is down there, and you're just looking at them thinking, wow, that used to be me. That used to be me, and now they're like rocking the bodycon dresses, and it's all like showing every aspect of their figures, and you kind of think, that's a bit much. But then but you kind of forget that when you were their age, you were rocking all sorts, you know, and letting all sorts hang out. And it's nice though. It's nice to look at your kids and think, wow, they're just gorgeous. But it does really make you reflect that, wow, there's certain things now are just like not for you. But that's not to say, ladies, I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't just still rock your glory. You know, there's a lot of us now that are still, you know, some of us are aging quite respectably and still got our figures intact, you know, and still can rock the old skinny jean and the kind of crop top that doesn't, is not all the way up here obviously. But yeah, but it's really interesting. I just find it fascinating that now, you know, we're coming of age. Technology is another thing. Oh my goodness. Like, I swear, if it wasn't for my girls, I would absolutely be totally lost. And I know there's a lot of middle generation peeps out there. They're a little bit kind of like social media and technophobic, which I think is a little bit of a shame, because the way the world is moving on now, you can't get away with it. Like, if you now even go to the bank, this is what I realised the other day, if you go to the bank now, there are less people like humans on the counter. Everything is like computer based, everything is like press this button, do this, you know, there's less interaction. Even online now, you know, there's a lot of us are still kind of still old fashioned, that we go to the shops, but everything is just changing in front of our eyes, technological wise. And you know, with me, I'm quite blessed that I have my girls, and it was actually them that you know, suggested that I start YouTube in the first place. And I'm proud to say that I do all my own editing, albeit that it's not like super fast, super whiz kid, but I'm proud that I do my own filming. I bought my own lighting, you know, my camera equipment. I've done it all myself. You know, I go on YouTube, I find tutorials. So, you know, it's never to show that life is really moving at quite a fast pace. And we as the middle generation, like we as grown-ass women and men, if we don't keep up, we are so going to be left behind. And the thing is now, I find like you can't even rely on your children. Like, you can't rely on your children to do stuff for you anymore, because they expect you to know, or they expect you to clue yourself up with stuff. So like, and when you ask them even to do things, it's like, oh, you know, you try and do it yourself. And I get that all the time, like, oh, try and learn. Or even if they're teaching you stuff, it's like they're teaching you stuff at like breakneck speed that you can't even get the grasp of even the first sentence that they've said. So yeah, it's just amazing. I'm just finding it very, very kind of like, whoa. In your face, like, you know, this is it. And I always think about my parents, like when I was growing up with my parents, and you know, certain little changes came in. I remember when certain things became new, and they were all kind of like quite daunted by it, and they always used to want to do things like the old-fashioned way, like my mum in particular. She always used to make me laugh, like when bank cards and debit cards became like a thing. She would never want to use her bank card in the cash machine. She would always want to just still go into the bank and put her book. Back in the day, God, I'm so showing my age now, but she used to always take her bank book inside the bank and queue up, and then go to the actual counter and take her money out that way. Like, she would never use her card. And even when I tried to teach her, like, you know, mum, put in the machine, press this, she was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like the way, you know, I can't control my own money. She used to be so like, sort of like had this like phobia, like a thing about it. And when you look back and you think, God, now this is like us. This is us with like social media. And there's a lot of us that don't do Instagram. There's a lot of us that don't do, you know, I think most of our middle generation, we only do Facebook. Like, we don't really, I don't know hardly anybody my age that does Snapchat. I know there's quite a few people that are now dabbling a little bit of Instagram, but there's not a lot of us that do, like, you know, the sort of hip, trendy, young, on fleek, slaying kind of thing. So yeah, it's funny. I just find it really like, wow, this is it. This is it, guys. This is it. We're slowly creeping towards, you know, being of a certain age. But what I would say is that embrace it. You know, don't let it be a hindrance. So what? So your knees creak a little bit, or, you know, you have to put on your glasses every time you look for something, or, you know, you put something here, you can't remember it. But at the same time, you've got a lot of life experience behind you. You know, you've been there, you've travelled, you've had your children, you've had a career. We are still the fab generation. I don't care what anyone says. And, you know, they might think they know everything now and they can go on social media. But I tell you, they still come and ask us, you know, how many peppers and onions do I put in the stew? How do I do this, mum? Oh, you know, oh, what's that thing about so-and-so? And what was this and what was that? So we're still a mine of information out there. So don't get it twisted. We're not done and dusted yet. So if you are going through some changes, embrace it. Especially social media, guys. We need to get up there with the social media. Don't be left behind. Believe me, don't be left behind. Leave your comments below. Let me know what kind of changes you're going through yourself and how are you dealing with them. And, you know, share some tips of ways that you're getting through things. And yeah, let's just, you know, share our opinions, our thoughts. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Stay tuned, stay safe, stay blessed, and thank you. Peace out.